Kidding? Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get there.
Ooh, I love this song.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello, and welcome to episode 251 of the Rotten Views podcast. We have a summertime movie set for you guys today. Of course, you know that if you've seen the title of the episode. But for all you listeners that have it already pre-downloaded or have it so each new episode I should say, is pre-downloaded, I appreciate you very, very much. And thank you for showing up for another episode of the Rotten Views podcast, where we're watching Pool Party Massacre from 2017. Why did I pick this movie? Well, it's a blind watch on Tubi. It's summertime here, and I kind of know the director and writer for this one. Not closely by any means, but I have had conversations with them on and off over the couple of years here, and I figured might as well check it out because I'm pretty sure I got like an early release of this movie back when it came out in 2017. But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch it because I get a few of those over the years from various writers and directors for indie horror movies, and I kind of always forget to watch them, and then the link expires. But, you know, it is what it is, right? But of course, like every episode, before we get too far into the episode at hand, let's do a little bit of housekeeping like we like to do each and every single week before the episode starts.
Housekeeping?
I think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Could you come back in an hour?
Housekeeping, you want towel?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
As always, depending on whatever podcast platform you're listening on, feel free to give it a like, give it a share, leave a comment. If you can leave a comment on it, that's great. If you're on Spotify, feel free to leave a star review. It can be a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, whatever star, even the 1-star, the dreaded 1-star. If you want to leave me a dreaded 1-star, that's like hitting me with a blue shell and Mario Kart. That's fine. It's okay. I understand. You know, we'll bounce back. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. But hopefully on the next episode, you won't give me. I'll redeem myself, and you'll change that 1-star to a 5-star. It's not like you can review every single episode. You just review the podcast as a whole. But the thing that you guys can do the most, that helps out the most, depending on whatever podcast platform you're on, like I said, hit that share button. That share button helps out a lot. It gets the podcast out there for more listeners, more viewers, and more people that enjoy stupid, bad movies just like I do. So just share it on your Facebook page, your Instagram page, your TikTok, your Reels, your Stories, whatever it might be, your Threads, your whatever accounts that are out there. I know there's Blue Sky and all these other social media accounts that I have nothing to do with because it's too hard to keep up with everything. Or just, share on Discord. Discord and Reddit's good. I enjoy those too. Reddit's a little bit horrible because there's a lot of negative people on there, but that's besides the point. If you want to share it there, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. And if you're a new listener, you're in for a fun one because we have a large catalog of movies. And of course, if this is your first episode, you already know that because you typed in this movie on whatever your broadcast platform is. And this is episode 251. That's crazy to think. So hopefully this won't be a fun one. Like I said, or I might have not actually said yet, I haven't watched this movie yet. It's a blind watch from Tubi. So for anyone who's new to the podcast, what the platform is that I do, I talk about a movie from start to finish, hit all the points in between that interest me. So it's going to be spoiler filled. Just so you guys are aware now, I'll let you guys know again before the actual episode starts where I start talking about the movie. But you guys have been warned. Something else I want to put out there, make sure to follow me on all social media accounts. At Typhus Time, we're on Threads, we're on X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. But that main thing that you can check out for more free content, make sure to check out the YouTube channel. I have various short videos over there as well. Been dropping pretty much 1 or 2 a day solidly for like a good 3 months now. So there's a lot of short content over there. Been doing pretty well for that. We have the weekly game video that drops every single Wednesday. I do live streams over there as well. Been streaming like 6 nights a week for 2.5 hours a night. So it's nothing drastic. I'm not one of these long time streamers where I'm not going to stream for like 4 hours. I don't have it in me. I don't have long streams in me. I don't. I'm too old. But yeah, go check that out. We also have old episodes of the podcast. We also have the community posts. So make sure to go subscribe to that. Turn on the bell notifications. That way you get notified every single time I go live with a new video or with a live stream. And the last thing we're going to promote before starting the episode at hand, make sure to check out the CWC, Canadian Wrestling Championship page on Instagram as well as Facebook. We have a Facebook group. I've been doing various wrestling videos over there as well. We have some wrestling content, more content coming up. We got wrestling merch, and hopefully within the next couple months, we'll be doing our first ever wrestling event. So that's going to be interesting. It should be a fun time. So hopefully you guys will go follow that page. Say hi. We have on the Facebook group, we have a chat community, so definitely go say hi in there. Just make a post saying hi or comment on one of the posts that's up there. We have some R-Truth posts. We have just recently I did a couple posts on Owen Hart, so it's not all just modern day wrestling stuff. It's also stuff from the 90s and whatnot, so definitely go check it out. There's a lot of content on there as well, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. But enough about all that crap. I know you guys are here to listen to me talk about bad movies, and I thank you very, very much for showing up. Before I do get started on the movie at hand, like I said, this is going to be a blind watch for me. So upon doing this intro, I don't know really anything about the movie. I know the premise, I've seen the trailer, and I've seen clips, but that's as far as it goes. But if you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 2017, I know it's a little bit of a newer movie for me. I don't do these newer movies too often. So feel free, if you don't want to be spoiled, pause the episode now. Go watch it for free on Tubi, because you can never go wrong with free shows on Tubi. It's a great platform. I highly recommend checking it out. Then feel free to come back and listen to me talk about the movie. Or just sit back, relax, listen to me talk about the movie. And I'll either make you really want to go see the movie for yourself, or you'll be okay with just skipping it. I leave that up to you at the end to decide. This movie is from 2017. It's an hour and 20 minutes runtime. It's a horror comedy. This movie has a 4.3 out of 10 on IMDb, and apparently 60% of Google users have enjoyed this movie. Upon looking it up on Rotten Tomatoes, though, there's no popcorn meter or tomato meter at all. So I don't know what that really means. It just means not a lot of people have bothered to review this or even watch it. So, it is what it is. So hopefully it's a good movie. Hopefully it's fun. That's all we want in the end. We just want a movie that's going to be fun and enjoyable. So we'll see how it goes. The description, as read on IMDb, was started out as a relaxing summer day by the pool for a group of high-maintenance young socialites. Quickly becomes a nightmare when an unknown killer begins stalking and murdering them one by one. So we get to the point in time in this movie where we get to talk about the writer, director, and the cast members. And luckily enough, the writer and director is the same person. We are talking about Drew Marvick. Of course, he plays Blaine also in this movie. He was also in Astro Zombie and Astro Zombies M4 Invaders from cyberspace. As well, he's just labeled as an actor for the 2016 short Get Hansel, as well as he plays John Squires in the short Scared to Death. And from what I recall, I haven't really talked to him in the last couple of years at all, but I believe on TikTok now he does a cooking related channel. I've watched a couple of the videos and they are pretty well done, not gonna lie. I enjoy it. I'm not much for a cooking show type of guy, but I enjoy it. I would definitely recommend it. I will try and find the links and put it down in the description below as well. So now we're going to jump over to a couple of the cast members, and we're not going to talk about too many of them because, like I said, Drew is one of the cast members. He plays Blaine. But another cast member is Leanne Vamp, who's playing the character Mrs. Stevens. She's the only one that I really looked up that has like other roles. She's in 24 episodes of a TV show called Ghosted in 2017. She's in 5 episodes of a TV show called Cosplay Melee, where she's a judge. She's a vampire in a 2017 TV series called Best Friends Forever. Don't know any of them. Looking at a couple of the other cast members, seems like they do a lot of adult-related stuff, at least the 2 that I clicked on. IMDb said they're in the adult industry now. I don't want to discuss that too much because I don't want to get my podcast flagged. Knowing my luck, it would happen. It probably shouldn't happen because you're just discussing things. But I can't really talk about the movies that they're in, so we'll leave it at that. If you want to look it up, go look it up. The tagline for this one is straightforward, simple, and it actually works for the movie. Tagline is, worst pool party ever. And it makes sense, because, everyone's dying at the pool party. So yeah, that'll be a pretty bad pool party. Alright, enough discussing the movie at hand. I don't think there's really too much more to discuss about it. So we're going to get right into the movie at hand. So this is your final warning. If you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 2017, feel free to pause this episode now and go watch it on Tubi. I believe it's also available to be rented on Amazon Prime. But like I said, you can watch it for free on Tubi. You get a couple ads here and there, but I think there's even ads on Amazon Prime now anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe if you rent the movie, it doesn't give you the ads, but I know with having a subscription, you still get some ads. Doesn't make sense, but whatever. But yeah, go watch on Tubi for free if you want to, or just sit back, relax, listen to me talk about the movie. And if you're at home, hopefully you're just comfy, relaxing, just vegging out. Hopefully it's not too hot. Hopefully the sweat's not dripping off your face like it is on mine, because I turned my fan down, so there's no background noise. There might be a little bit, but it's fine. It's only on one, and I'm sweating pretty badly right now, and it's 9:30 at night. I'm doing this episode actually super early. I'm glad for it, because it's going to be hot and muggy. It's been hot and muggy all day, but that's besides the point. If you're at work, hopefully this helps you get through the day. Hopefully my ranting and raving helps you get through the day, and hopefully makes the time go by faster. And like most of you guys are, I know you're in the car, so if you're listening in the car, just keep an eye on where you're going. Make sure everyone gets to where they're going nice and safely. No accidents and none of that other crap. Keep your eyes on the road at all times. Alright, safety first. And we're going to get started on the podcast episode right now.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
Blair Winthorpe and her friends don't know it yet, but they are about to have the worst pool party ever. Pool Party Massacre, coming soon.
So we got the movie starting out, and I'm not going to make fun of it. I'm not going to make fun of it at all. The intro has this floating eye films picture, or design piece. For some people, they might think it looks bad. I actually enjoyed it, because I like bad movies. But then we just cut to this nice fancy house. It's a nice sunny day. You got the birds chirping, and we got this little truck pulling up. Come to find out, it's Pinker's Pool Repair. Guy just lets himself into the backyard, because apparently he's probably been there a few times. Who knows? He's not really repairing the pool, though. He's just got one of those big nets, and he's just fishing out some stuff. The pool looks fine for the most part, rather than having a couple leaves in it. So do you really call a pool repair guy to just rake your leaves out of your pool? I thought that's only if there's something wrong with the pool. Also, the guy raking the leaves out kind of looks like a Temu version of Rob Zombie. And I swear this lady was not sitting on this recliner lounge chair 2 seconds ago. But the guy's still in the same spot, just using the brush to get some leaves out. He hasn't moved at all. And then she starts taking a drink and starts biting her finger. And then some cheap porno music starts to play. But then we cut over to him, and he's listening to some heavy metal music, and he's totally ignoring her, 100%. And I don't think she likes that, because she keeps looking at him. Okay, so we find out the girl on the lounge chair is Leanne Vamp, Mrs. Stevens, and the pool guy's like, "Hey, Miss Stevens," and she's like, "It's just Miss Stevens this weekend. My husband's gone. Can you do me a favor and, start helping me get some of this lotion on my hard-to-reach places? I know you're just here to clean the pool out, but can you lotion me up as well, please?" He's obviously got his heavy music blaring in his ears. He doesn't hear her ask at all, and we hear the gate open and close, and he walks away, and she's like, I probably can't repeat that, actually, because I just swore. That's probably going to give me a copyright strike as well, but that's okay. And then we hear the gate open again, and we see this guy who's just in this overall suit, and he's got a hedge trimmer in his hand, and obviously Leanne Vamp's not a main character, because we just watch her get her throat sliced, and there's blood going all over the place. She's clearly not a main character for this movie, and she lasted about a minute. But it's cool. Then we see the blood from her dripping into the pool, and the water gets all bloody. And then we see Pool Party Massacre pop up on the screen. The music starts getting retro and heavy metal, and then the whole intro turns into an NES style intro screen where we see like a pixelated killer dragging the body off. There's some rocking music playing. And honestly, I really dig the intro. We see a bunch of things happening in this pixelated intro, which might be things that happen in the movie. I'm not really too sure. Like I said, I've never seen it before. But we see a girl who like ball gag and she's getting slaughtered. And then we see a guy who's, getting some fun time in there, if you know what I mean. I don't know how to explain that one. But then we just cut back to the guy in the overalls, and he's just slowly starting to walk away. We never see his face at all. We just see, from like the shoulders, not even the shoulders down. But then once he's leaving the gate, we also see the pool boy is dead up against the fence because he's got a screwdriver ran through his eye. And he's kind of like walking down the sidewalk beside the house. And we see him looking over to the neighbors, and it's the Winthorpes. I know that for a fact because we see Mr. Winthorpe and Blaine is a Winthorpe. That's Drew's character as well. Clearly, the Winthorpe's parents are going away for the weekend, and their kids are going to have a pool party. Fun time. And, well, it's not going to be a fun time because we already know what's going to happen because it's the title of the movie. Anyways, the mom's giving the daughter Blair some slack because she's like, Blair, why can't you be like your brother and give us some grandkids, okay? We need some more grandkids. Can you give us some more grandkids? And she says, like, can you guys just go? I'm so embarrassed to be related to you. And then Mr. Winthorpe's like, all right, so just no threesomes, all right? No one in our bathroom or our bedroom, all right? So just no threesomes, all right? No threesomes. And then the mom's like, all right, sorry about that. Your father's being a little drastic. If it wasn't for a threesome, we would never got together. And then the dad's like, oh yeah, sorry. Threesomes are okay. Just do it properly. Nothing super crazy, all right? So we come to find out that it's Blair and her friend Nancy, and Nancy's back in town for the first time in God knows how long. Because the mom's like, oh, if we knew you were coming, we would have canceled our trip so we could have spent time with you. Do you know you're Blair's only friend that she's ever had, ever? And then the mom is talking to Nancy, being like, Nancy, make sure she doesn't do anything too stupid, and she does, make sure she doesn't drag you down with it, because you're too good for that. You're the daughter I wish I had, because my daughter over there that's listening right now, stupid. Then the parents leave, and Nancy's waving at the neighbor who's just trying to trim his tree. And Blair's like, he's a creep. I know he's a serial killer for sure. And the guy looks over being like, bitch, what do you say to me? He doesn't actually say it, but he gives the facial expression that would say it. So then they walk into the family home, and they see this family portrait, and Nancy's like, oh my god, is that your brother? She's like, yeah, that's what he became. And Nancy's like, oh, he looks so normal. Look at that beard. It's so, As a bearded man, I take offense to that, Nancy. You're just like a Karen, Nancy. So we come to find out that Blair has to watch the family dog, Darla, and she just takes it to a room that has a picture on it. There's a white print on it saying, do not enter unless you're a cute puggle named Darla. And she just chucks the dog in the room and then walks away. Then there's a knock on the door, and there's this guy that shows up, and Blair's all pissed off because apparently it's a guy that she was trying to get with, and he was the lawn maintenance guy, and she was only with him because it pissed off his dad. And now there's this like stupid little drama between the two of them. Okay, so we come to find out it's Nancy's brother, because he's like, so my mom told me Nancy's in town, and I haven't seen my sister in years. And I figured, of all places, she'd probably be over here. And Blair's like, nope, sorry, haven't seen her at all. See you later, goodbye. And then before slamming the door on his face, she's like, why don't you just go home and drink yourself to death just like your father did? So then Blair goes out to find Nancy sitting at the pool and be like, your trailer trash brother tried to show up. And she's like, where is he? He's like, you think I would really let him in here with all this expensive stuff? And besides, he's your step brother. He's not really your blood. And Nancy's like, he's actually a really well-known chef. And, he's my family, so you could have let him in. So Nancy starts calling Blair out on her bullshit. And she's like, you should be kissing my brother's ass for the lie that you created. Because apparently Blair came up with this lie that her brother was trying to make out with her in the pool shed, and that pissed off the dad, and it got him into a lot of trouble because she was trying to say that he was coming on to her and all this other crap. And then Nancy just gets pissed off. She's like, I'm gonna go call my brother to go talk to him because you are a shitty human being. And Blair, being the selfish little bitch that she is, she doesn't care that her best friend just walked away. She then sees her reflection and be like, oh my god, there's no way I'm wearing this disgusting romper when all my friends come over for my amazing pool party. And then we see inside this shed with a bunch of tools that have the outlines, and we see that the saw that cut Mrs. Stevens' throat is now being put back on the wall. And now we see a hammer being taken off of the said wall by the same killer. I will say the movie did a really good job, and Kristen Noel Musketsk, does a really good job of playing as Blair, because I hate her. She's a stupid character. Anyways, we see a montage of Blair trying on different outfits for her pool party, not finding the one she likes. Then she feels like someone's creeping on her, so then she goes into the other part of the house to check, and she runs into Nancy and gets scared because she's like, "Oh, you caught me off guard, Nancy." They got a bottle of champagne in their hand, and they hear some noises. They're like, "Oh, I think I hear something in like the laundry room area that's connected to maybe the garage." Anyways, they open up a door. Well, the friends open up the door, and they get scared. They drop the bottle. Everyone's getting pissed off, and they're like, "Well, if you didn't leave the front door locked, we wouldn't have to sneak through the garage." And then they all come in bikinis and shit, and they're like, it's been a really stressful day. We need to get drunk. And one of the girls like, does anybody know how to make a mojito? And then one girl's like, does it look like I know how to make a mojito? And then the other girl's looking at a bottle being like, I'm not even Italian. So now I'm assuming the girl who wants the mojito or mojita, whatever. I don't drink. I don't care. Anyways, I'm assuming that's Tiffany, who's played by Alexis Adams, and that's the girl I was looking up who's in the adult industry apparently while clicking on IMDb. I didn't look it up, but I clicked on it, and her little bio on there made sure to mention all the stuff she was in. And then all the other friends are looking at Nancy being like, how are we supposed to know you? Are you like a house cleaner around here? Like, did you clean like one of the guest house or something? Also, to date this movie, like, it's 2017, but anyways, I'm not sure when the movie's actually supposed to take place. She pulls out this stereo system that has a disc tray that has probably like one of the 6 disc trays. Anyway, she has a burnt CD that says Blair's Killer Pool Party Mix. Just thought it was kind of funny. And we see all the girls just sitting around the pool, and the one's like, I hope there's no chlorine in the water. I don't want it to affect my skin. And then Tiffany's like, sure hope the pool is heated because I'm totally not getting it if it's too cold. And one of the girls is complaining because she told her boyfriend that she's going to the spa with her mom, and apparently the mom posted a picture with Dwayne Newton. That's literally what they said. Anyways, the other girl's like, just leave the guy. So what if he thinks you're cheating on him? He's got a homeless bod. He's totally got the dad homeless man bod. He's just so stupid. Man, this movie's gonna be hard to get through. I mean, it's not bad, but the way these females are speaking, they're doing a really good job of sounding stupid. And I believe it's Tiffany. I could be wrong. She's talking to the girl that's texting her boyfriend because he's all upset because he thinks she's cheating on him. She's like, you're only destined to be a hooker, so what you need to do is get your lips around a rich man's banana. That way he can, pay for everything. Anyways, that lady takes off to go call her boyfriend in the house so that she's, not listening to everything that's being said. Anyways, then she turns around and we see the killer is behind her, and he takes a hammer and takes the claw part and puts it right in the bottom of her chin and picks her up by it. And we can tell he's at least like 6 foot tall, 6'3", maybe a little bit bigger. I'm not really too sure. But now she's got a hammer through her lower part of her mouth, and she's elevated off the ground as we just see blood gushing all over the place. Okay, so, the boyfriend didn't pick up the phone either, and the phone's now on the ground. And the phone rings back through her boyfriend. And the display picture that she has saved is of Drew holding his member. Yeah, I'm not lying. Holding his member. Anyways, Nancy goes to look in the house to see if the friend's on the phone. And the killer placed the girl on the couch holding her phone, so it looks like she's just talking on the phone. And then Nancy's like, she's still on the phone with her boyfriend. So the other friend's like, yeah, she's going to be there all night because she never stops talking to her boyfriend. So apparently this pool party is supposed to be a no boys allowed pool party. No boys at all. And apparently Tiffany has invited a boy. And apparently this boy was with Blair in the 8th grade, and she's like, I'm sorry I stole him away. You're probably still mad about it, right? You were a virgin, and guys at that point in time in the 8th grade really wanted a lady who was going to put out. So then, like, instantly, this guy and his buddy shows up, and it's like, she was just texting you saying that they were there. How did you show up so goddamn fast? Do you have a tracking system on her car? Like, how the hell did you already know where she was so quickly? So then this guy's name is Troy. Better than Kevin, I guess. But anyways, Troy's like, all the girls definitely want me here. Because look at Nancy. She hasn't stopped taking her eyes off me. And I haven't even taken my shirt off yet. Just you wait until I take my shirt off. So then Troy picks up Tiffany to go carry her away. And the nerdy guy that's with Troy, he's like, hey, bro, beer me. I can't grab one because I'm carrying the lady. Anyways, the buddy, it looks a little bit older. It looks like he's got a receding hairline. He looks like an idiot. Just putting that out there. Anyway, she sits beside one of the more intelligent ladies. Not really. Anyway, she's like, can you take your grandpa with you? It's probably his nap time. And he's like, if I would have been held back one more year, we probably would have went to high school together. I could have took your virginity. She's like, over my dead body. And he responds back, well, necrophilia is a dying art, so why not? And then we cut to the killer who's now picking his next weapon to murder somebody with. And I'm not sure why they have in this shed, but they got a mining pickaxe, and that's what he's using. Anyways, the pool party has this like heavy metal music blasting because the old guy with Troy brought his own boombox. Anyways, the neighbor is this old lady who's speaking a different language, and I don't know which one it is, but don't judge me. Anyway, she's sitting down for tea outside at this little table with a doll that's moving. I'm not sure if it's the wind moving it or if it's meant to be moving, but it's moving. Anyways, old lady goes to bang on the door to let them know about the music. Nobody answers the door, of course. So then she goes around the side gate area to go complain about the music. That's when her head meets the tip of the pickaxe. And, well, she's clearly dead because she got pickaxe to the dome. Even though as the killer's walking away, I'm pretty sure I saw her blink. But maybe I was wrong. So we see Troy and Tiffany in the room, and Tiffany's taking off her top, of course, and she's doing her best adult star impression. Anyways, then Troy opens up his bag, and he's got some bondage equipment, I guess you could say. So then old man dude here with the receding hairline is putting lotion on himself, being like, hey ladies, can you help me reach the hard to reach spots? And she's like, no. Does any of that creepy stuff ever work on ladies? And he's like, no, never does, actually. Then receding hairline guy starts making some kissy faces to one of the girls, the ditzy one. And all of them are like, gross. And he's just like, well, you know what? You guys are grosser than I am. So the other guy's name is Clay. And he's standing at the edge of the pool on some rocks. He's like, wow, sure it's getting really hot out here. I should probably slip into something, with less shorts. And he drops down to like some underwear and starts slapping his eyes, being like, hey, anybody else want to come slap it? No? Alright, I'm just going to jump in the pool by myself then. So, Tiffany is chained to the bedpost. Troy gets off of her and is looking at the condom that's full. He's like, I think they're all in there. You want to count them though to check? So then he just walks away, leaves her tied to the bed with a ball gag against her mouth. He's like, I'm going to go order some pizza. You just lay around for a bit, alright? Then as he disappears, we then see the killer come into shot, and he's carrying an axe, and she's freaking out because, well, there's a random guy holding an axe, and he's now lining it up with her throat or her boobs, depending on, how you want to look at it, because she keeps trying to squirm out of the way. We see the axe find a nice spot right inside of her throat. And then we hear Troy in the distance be like, hey, babe, you're in luck. I found some snacks. And he goes to the bedroom. The door is shut. He didn't shut the door when leaving, so I'm not sure how the door would be shut because he's too stupid. He then sees her dead on the bed, and he falls back on the bed, and then he gets an axe right in the head. The next weapon getting chosen off of the tool wall is now going to be a saw. So I'm just expecting someone to get their head chopped off at this point. And one of the girls is complaining about the pool party because at her house, she has a full-on staff that gets them a drink every time they want a drink. And she's complaining, she's like, Blair actually expects us to get up every single time we want a refill? This is stupid. Then for some reason, Nancy and Clay start talking about the Ferris Bueller and Fight Club scenario where everything's kind of a dream and nothing's really real and this character's only real. I don't know why. I guess they're kind of bonding because at one point Nancy mentioned that she actually thought Clay was nice looking until Clay started to act and speak and talk and do everything he's been doing, being a creep the whole time. And Clay's like, you don't believe me, let's go inside, watch the movie, and then you can see if the theory's right. And Nancy's like, I ain't going anywhere with you unless I know it's very bright. There's no dim spots. I know where all the exits are. That way I can get away from you as fast as possible if you do anything creepy. So Clay tries to give, I'm thinking it's Brittany. Brittany's the blonde girl that's completely intelligent. Let's just say intelligent. Anyways, he's like, in my cooler, I have this very Spanish or Italian drink. I forget. I wasn't really paying attention. Anyways, they call it a dirty Sanchez, and I would like to be your first, because she goes on about how she's never had one before. Anyways, she's stupid enough to take a sip out of his cooler, and then she spits it in his face. And Nancy's like, oh, look, Clay, you found out. She doesn't swallow. Is that going to be an issue for you? So Clay goes on about how he's going to go in the washroom and go, do his thing, and he's gonna go have a virtual, picture of one of the ladies. He's not sure which one he's gonna pick, and then he's like, I'm gonna go have a vinegar stroke, and then Brittany's like, what's that? And then all the other girls show their examples of what a vinegar stroke is. That's the movie that we got here going, folks. So then we see Clay walking through the home. He's like, I wonder where they keep the jerk material, because I need some material to help myself. And then he's looking at the wall, and it's a bunch of family pictures. He's like, oh, yes, Blair, you're going to be the lucky one. And he starts rubbing the picture, and it's actually Blaine without a beard, and he's too stupid to realize that. Wait, so then he takes one of the paintings or pictures off the wall and takes it to the washroom. And apparently it's the mom. Anyways, Clay goes to do his business in the washroom, and he's not actually using the toilet, of course. But then we see the killer walking through the home with the saw, and we hear Clay talking to himself in the washroom. So then the doorbell is rung, and the killer goes to answer the door, and it's a pizza guy, and his name is Chet. He's like, brah, you order a pizza, right, brah? And then he looks down and sees the saw, and he's like, brah, you ain't gonna kill me, right, brah? Do you want the pizza, cash talks, or the pizza walks? And then that's when he gets stabbed in the stomach, and the saw turns on, and we see the pizza guy being murdered. So then we see the saw getting put back on the wall, because the pizza guy is dead on the front porch with his intestines hanging out, and Clay's still giving it in the washroom. So the killer goes and grabs a drill that looks like it's from Driller Killer and gets ready to drill through the door. But at the point in time when he's grabbing this drill off the wall, there's also a machete on the damn wall as well. So of course, because this is an electric drill, we actually see the killer taking the time to find a plug-in to plug it in, and we see the drill is now going to be placed behind where Clay's head would be, and we could just assume that the drill is going to go right through probably his head or his neck. Not really too sure. He's getting ready to climax though, but the drill then starts going right through his back. We see the drill bit makes it all the way through his chest, because it's a giant drill bit. If you haven't seen Driller Killer before, or it might also be called Slumber Party Massacre, I believe that's the name, it's a giant ass drill. It goes right through his chest, and Chet's looking down as the drill bit's going through him, and blood's going all over the place, and then he just dies. And now Nancy's bugging Blair and being like, you really know how to throw a pool party. And she's like, I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to hear it at all. And nobody's actually been in the pool other than Clay. Not a single one of these girls have actually stepped foot in that damn pool other than the creepy guy. So Nancy actually mentions, like, anytime I've actually been to a pool party, people actually use the pool. And then Jasmine, she's like, this hair can't get into that pool because it's way too expensive for that. And then Brittany's like, so, yeah, the wet look only works for supermodels. So then Jasmine gets all pissed off. She's like, what? I'm not a supermodel type person? Huh? She's like, well, no, I didn't mean it like that. Hey, anyways, guys, the champagne's empty. Who's getting me more? It's like, you gotta get up and get it yourself, actually. And of course, Brittany doesn't want to go looking for alcohol on her own, so Jasmine goes with her. And she's like, well, I'm gonna need something stronger anyways than champagne anyways, because this pool party is really boring if I'm gonna be here all day. So then they're like, I can't be that hard. You don't need a school diploma at all to be a bartender, so we can definitely make our own drinks. And then I think it's Brittany. She's like, yeah, my mom watches Cocktail pretty much every single day, so I pretty much know exactly what I'm doing. So then Jasmine starts shaking a drink, and it spills all over. And she starts freaking out, being like, what if it affects my self-tanner? And what if I start looking like a leopard? And Brittany looks over and be like, I think it's actually happening right now. You should probably go wash it off. So then Jasmine just starts freaking out and running upstairs to the washroom. I thought maybe Jasmine is just running upstairs to wipe down. She's not. She's fully getting naked to jump in the shower because she's complaining about the shower cap. And she's jumping right in the shower, being like, this would have never happened if this party was at my house. And then, of course, we hear the killer slowly walking into the bathroom when she's in the shower. The killer is now using this weird-ass looking whippersnipper, because it's a whippersnipper, but it doesn't look like it has a cord on them. It kind of looks like it has little spikes. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just a different one. Anyways, he puts it underneath the shower curtain and just turns it on. We just hear Jasmine screaming as blood just shoots everywhere. So then Brittany's coming out with a drink, and she goes to hand one to Nancy and be like, here, take this. You can try my new drink I tried to make. And Nancy's like, I'm sure Jasmine probably won't want to share a drink with me. That's when Brittany says about the mess inside. So then Blair's like, did you clean it up? And Brittany's like, no. There's actually people that do that for a living, so why would I take work from them when they can do it? So then Nancy goes to sit down with Blair and be like, So, where do you think Tiffany and Troy are doing it? You think maybe it's in your bedroom or your parents' bedroom? She's like, I'm not trying to think about it. I'm trying to have a good party. And Nancy's like, well, I can't really call this a party other than the one time Clay was naked in the pool. But, how do you think he's doing in the washroom? Too bad he's such a creep, huh? So then apparently some attorney guy replied back to Brittany and Jasmine. So Brittany runs in the house to go tell Jasmine, but she doesn't realize that she's dead. So Brittany's on her phone, and she's all excited because the guy liked 3 of her pics. And she goes up to the washroom, and it's still on her phone, and then she finally notices up, being like, oh shit, my best friend is dead. And then she goes to run out of the washroom, and we are met with the killer. So then she goes to run into another room. She goes into this room, locks the door, and that room leads to another room. So she goes into the other room. That's where she then sees Troy and Tiffany dead on the bed. So then she runs back to the original room, and we hear someone knocking on the door. I thought she was going to be stupid enough and just open up the door, but no, she just puts her body up against the door, telling the guy to leave her alone. And of course, he's got the machete as his weapon now. So of course, she's laying up against the door to try and prevent him from getting in. We just hear the door breaking, and of course the machete goes through the door and through the back of her, and she's stuck against the door, but she's dead now. And then there was 2 left. And Nancy and Blair are sitting at the pool, and Nancy's like, you should probably go in and see what everyone's doing, because they've been inside for a while now, and nobody's come back outside at all, other than Brittany at that one point, but now she's back inside. So maybe you should see what, Troy and Tiffany and Jasmine and everyone else are up to. And then Nancy's like, well, I didn't expect you to be this type of person when you became an adult. You used to be fun to be around, but now you're just trying too hard to impress everyone to make them happy. And Nancy and Blair have this little bonding moment, how Blair, tried so hard to be her friend and always came around because she liked her and didn't want to lose her only friend and liked her parents, of course. But, then eventually they grew apart. So Nancy's trying to convince Blair to go into one of the random rooms to see who's doing what. And, maybe she'll have some fun and join in with them. I don't understand the point of it, but she's like, I'm pretty sure they're probably doing stuff in your room. And that pisses off Blair. She's like, I'm going inside to see what the hell's going on then. Anyways, then Nancy's left outside and she grabs some ice and gets a little drink and sits down on the patio furniture, and we see the killer just behind her, and he's got a hammer in his hand, and he just clocks her in the side of the head. She falls over, and then we see her body getting dragged off somewhere. And it's kind of a cool shot. We see Blair coming out of the house, but we also see the killer dragging Nancy's body off on the other side of the building. So we just see the feet disappearing off the shot. I'm not sure it's supposed to be there or not, but it's there. So then we have Blair going through the house. She's like, nobody better be in my parents' room. That's off limits. And then she goes into the room, or falls into the room, and we see her brother, Blaine, just standing there with a hammer in hand. And she's like, you asshole. He's like, asshole? Me? What did I do? And Blair's like, did you hide that body behind the door so it would fall on me? And then Blaine's like, what do you mean? Any movie from the 80s, you couldn't watch it and open up a door without a body falling on you. You should know that. We love horror movies. That's what happens. And then Blair's like, what's going on? Are you doing perverted things with my dead friends? He's like, no. Okay, maybe. And then we find out that Blair actually hired her brother to kill off her friends. So then Blair looks over and she's like, who the hell is that over there? And he's like, it's that pizza guy. Duh. I need to practice on a couple people, okay? He's like, well, I might have practiced on Mrs. Stevens and the pool guy, actually, to be honest with you. I didn't get a chance to kill the paperboy or the landscaper. And, why would I kill the landscaper anyways? He's kind of cool. And Blair's like, I had everything planned out perfectly. Everything was supposed to be, tied to the creepy guy across the street because I already set up that he's a serial killer. And now you're messing everything up, Blaine. So Nancy's not dead. She woke back up, and she's actually texting on, I think, Brittany's phone for help. And Blaine and Blair are arguing with each other because Blaine wants everyone to know that, the killing was his work. He wants to be known as being the serial killer. And then Nancy just runs out of the room. And Blair's like, oh, yeah, you're really good at killing people, huh? Look at her take off. So then Blaine starts tracking down Nancy, and Nancy's like, get the hell away from me, you're a psycho. And he's like, I know I'm a psycho. Did you not just see everything I've already done today? And Blaine's like, if it makes you feel better, Nancy, I'm going to miss you the most, not like Sly McGee over here. And he turns around the point, and that gives Nancy enough time to pull the machete out of the door and stab Blaine in the stomach. And he's like, oh, that's not good. So then Nancy runs down the stairs and she's met by Blair holding an axe. And she goes to run away and she's like, oh, Nancy, you're making this so much harder than it needs to be. So Nancy's trying to understand why Blair's doing what she's doing, and she wants to be famous. And then Nancy's like, why can't you just make a sex tape like everyone else? She's like, because I'm not a slut, Nancy. So Blair goes to throw the axe shot at Nancy. She misses Nancy, but hits the bed. Nancy grabs Tiffany's severed head off of the bed and knocks Blair to the ground with it. And then Nancy picks up the axe and just impales Blair in the head as she's saying, worst pool party ever. Then we see Nancy slowly leaving the house as the slow music starts to pick up, and we can hear sirens off in the distance because she was able to text for help. And then we see back in the room, the pizza guy's got his box open, and the dog is eating the pizza out of the box. But then as Nancy's walking farther away from the house, we actually see Blaine appear up on the balcony, and we can tell he's not dead because he's just standing there looking all pissed off. And then the outro credits start to roll, and the movie's over. And I gotta say, I enjoyed it. I've given it on the Rotten scale of a 4.5 out of 10. It's not great. It's not horrible. I know the girls are pretty annoying and stupid, but they're definitely meant to be that way, so I can't really fault them on that because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So, you know, as much as I think they're annoying, they do a really good job at it. And I like that you see the whole tool weapon board of weapons and sets it up for each kill. I thought that was pretty cool. Could use a little bit more gore, but you know, what do you expect for an indie horror movie? So I enjoyed it. Definitely recommend watching it. It's a fun one. It's a fun, goofy one. So which brings us to a point in time where we're gonna pick what we're gonna be watching next week, and of course it's gonna be another movie on Tubi. At the point in time of this episode, though, this movie is actually leaving Tubi apparently in 3 days, so that's why I'm picking to watch it. This movie is from 1987. It's a sci-fi horror movie for an hour and 31-minute runtime. It's called The Curse. The description as read on Tubi: after a meteor falls on his family farm, Zach discovers that something inside it is infecting every living thing on the farm, including his family. It sounds like an interesting one. I've never seen it before, haven't watched the trailer for it at all, and it just sounds like it might be an interesting one. And like I said, it's an 80s horror movie that I've never seen, so I gotta mark it off on the list. So hopefully you will check back next week to check that one out as well. And as always, make sure to check out the outro band, trial-based horror band, Blood Opera. All their links are down below in the description, but you can find them on the major things, any audio app essentially. Use Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Check them out everywhere that you can. You know, if you're on Spotify, make sure to follow them.
Hit the like on some of their songs, share some of their music, all that fun stuff. And as always, find all my links down below at Typhonstein on all social media accounts. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on X, we're on Threads, we're on TikTok. But the main thing being that YouTube channel. Remember, we got the weekly game video dropping every single Wednesday. I have old episodes of the podcast dropping every single Monday. I have various shorts over there as well. And we do live streams, so definitely go check them out. Go follow the page, subscribe, hit the bell notification, turn on all notifications. That way you get notified every single time I go live on YouTube. And as always, make sure to check out CWC page on Instagram and Facebook for all the wrestling content that's coming up soon. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace!